All right, here's my CRF300Rally. I just came back from a day-long road trip. Well, I shouldn't say road trip. A day-long ride. Let's see how far I went. 548 miles, almost 550 miles. Let's see, I used up 8.6 gallons, which comes out to, let's see, 50. See, I averaged 54 miles an hour. And 63 miles per gallon. So there was a lot of freeway riding for sure. Right. Oh, it's not on the timer. So I only have 1,300 miles so far. So bike's still very new. Anyways, I left at I was on the road at 8:30. I literally just got off my bike like a minute ago. So over 11 hours of riding. And I rode nonstop too. I rode literally nonstop. I didn't stop for anything except for gas and to pee. So I was like on the saddle the whole time. So you can see how dirty my face shield is. Look at that. So that's one day of riding right there. Same thing with my hand guards, my mirrors, the windshield, or excuse me, hand guards again, mirrors, even my crash bars. You can see all the garbage. Down here, I see there's a little bit of wet, there's a little bit of like mud here and there. But I did ride some dirt roads. I think I probably rode like maybe 40 miles of dirt roads. Anyway, so let's look at a quick update on this bike. I just realized I've had this bike for about a year and a half now, or just shy of a year and a half. I haven't ridden it much. This past year I've just been really busy. So anyways, so that's a quick update on what's what. So let's look at my little mesh pad right here. That works pretty good. I think I'm gonna have to slide this back a little bit more, another inch or so, inch or two. So my butt didn't get sweaty at all. My crotch didn't get sweaty at all. So it worked. Well, actually, it wasn't cold. It wasn't hot today. It was cool. It was cool this morning. Got a little warm this afternoon, but it wasn't hot. This seat pad does not make it doesn't make the seat more comfortable. Okay, it just keeps your butt dry. Basically, that's all it does. So don't think of it as a comfort thing. Well, I guess comfort as far as keeping your butt dry, then yeah, it's comfortable. Or from that sense. My quad lock system worked pretty good. I think I'm gonna angle it slightly more vertical, just a few degrees more vertical. My USB charger, right, to connect to my quad lock, that worked really well. This is a short cable too, so it's like just enough. I don't have to have any extra cable at all. So that was cool. Everything felt good on this bike. So this bike, as I was going through, and you notice this thing on a long day, especially when you get tired, you notice it more than when you brush. So the RPMs on here, oops, god dang it. This bike, the sweet spot is 6,000 RPMs. It's where it's smoothest, and that's where you feel the power kicking in. Just before 6,000, you feel the power kicking in. It's power. Once you pass that 6, it's still strong and it still feels good. But when you get to 7, it's a little bit. That's when it starts to buzz. Right above 7, it starts to buzz. And by the time it gets to 8,000, I think it's too buzzy. I don't like that at all. So I wouldn't go much past 7,000 RPM. That's good. As far as below 6,000, just before 6,000 is where the power starts to jump in. Below that, it's weaker. It's kind of weak the whole time, and it feels like It doesn't feel that smooth either. Like I said, 6,000 it feels so smooth. It's like a sewing machine at 6,000. When you move away from there, it's when it's less. So I think the range here, the best to keep it at 6, but the range I think is between 5 and 7. That's how you probably want to. That's how I like to shift too. So if I'm actually when I want to accelerate, I would go up to 7th. I would upshift. If I'm just riding regular, I would go up to 6th and I would upshift. Yeah, so that's how this bike feels. Overall, it's all right. It's again 550 miles is a pretty long day. A few things I'm gonna change. I know I'm gonna change. Oh, actually, before that, let's talk a little bit more about the bike itself. I think this bike, especially with the radiator, I think this bike needs like another radiator. I noticed that the fan for it, it's always kicking in. Every time I get to like a stop or a light, as soon as I get there, the fan will kick in. Even when as soon as I get off the freeway, at a light, the fan kicks in. So it's right there at the brink. I've noticed that other folks with this bike, every once in a while, when I'm watching all these videos, either it be Itchy Boots or some other folks that has this bike, when they're doing off road and stuff, every once in a while, their high temperature indicator comes on, right? This high temperature indicator right here, it comes on here and there, not all the time, but it does come on more often than it should, I think. And that's because the engine is being stressed and it's being working, it's running hard, so it's getting hot. And I think this radiator is just not quite enough. Either that, or it could be just the flow. So here, if you look straight on to the radiator, it's like, even though there's plenty of space here, but the thing is, it's behind the fork leg, right? So you look straight on, half of it's covered. So whatever air that's getting here, it's all turbulent, so it doesn't flow as smoothly into the radiator. So basically, it's more turbulent. So that's probably why it might not flow as well. So potentially, maybe the radiator is big enough, but it's just the airflow to it is not quite, good enough, not clean enough. If it was like laminate flow, or if it was right in the front and there was no other turbulence, and wind would just hit that first thing before there was any turbulence, I think it would be fine. It would work just fine. But as is right now, the way that it is, I don't think it does. So my new radiator guard, it's warm. It's not hot. It's like lukewarm, so it's not too hot. I was hoping that it would help act as a heat sink as well, but there's nothing. It doesn't touch the radiator, so there's no way of it heat sinking. The only way that get any heat from the radiator is just basically it can only get radiant heat, and I don't think that works much either, because it's in front of the radiator and the wind's blowing right here. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I'm gonna wash this bike. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm too damn tired right now. But I'm gonna wash it. I'm probably gonna change the oil or check the oil level, maybe fill it up. It's at, what was it again, 1,300 miles? So another 700 miles. I'll probably change it at 2,000 miles. I'll just top off the oil, because the last time I actually changed the oil was probably around 500 miles. So not that long ago. 5, maybe 600 miles. I changed the oil, because that's probably my second or third oil change. I usually do the first oil change within like 20 miles or so, or the first 50 miles for sure. Then after that, I usually do another oil change like around 100 miles. Then by the time the 600 mile oil change, the supposedly first oil change comes, that's usually my third oil change. So I should be fine until 2,000 miles. Let me see. Yeah, so as far as stuff I'm gonna change, so you watch my other videos, you know that I have a Race Tech rear suspension, and also the front suspension as well. I put in the Race Tech spring and the valve, gold valve, and right now it's at 30% sag for my weight. versus the factory. The factory for my weight, it would sit more than 30%. It'll probably sit down to like maybe 50% sag. But anyways, at 30% sag, at proper sag, this seat is really hard, tall. You know, when I'm fresh in the beginning of the day, it's fine. But like right now, at the end of the day, I'm so exhausted. You know, for me to be able to get a foot down, I have to do the flamingo stance. And at the beginning of the day, and you're fresh, flamingo stance is no big deal. But by the end of the day, like today, doing the flamingo stance, I was getting tired. Just scooting my weight over, getting it down, then lifting my weight back up. I was like, that was actually tiring. That was exhausting actually. And other thing is when I ride this like in traffic and such, or slower pace stuff where I'm stopping a lot, doing the flamingo thing, constantly doing that, it actually wears me out. You know, it gets me tired. So I don't like to do that too much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace the suspension here, and I'm actually gonna get put on the Rally Raid shorter suspension. So if you look at the Rally Raid, you know the suspension on this bike is I think 250 millimeters front and rear, approximately. The Rally Raid shorter suspension is 210 millimeters front and rear. So it drops. You lose 40 millimeters of suspension travel in the front and the rear. So it'll drop the bike down a little bit, and hopefully I don't have to flamingo it so much, because it's exhausting. And realistically, I don't use this as a dirt bike. I mean, I ride dirt trails, or not trails, dirt roads. I ride dirt roads. Any dirt road I'll ride. I have no problem with that. Even dual tracks, I'll ride dual tracks, but I won't ride this bike on a single track. I just won't. I don't think it's really meant for it. I mean, if you're talented enough, you're fine. But I got no talent with dirt biking. I don't have a dirt biking background. I'm a street bike rider. The only dirt background I have is it's mountain biking. And mountain biking is completely different beast. Because it's so light that there's no problem going around single track and technical stuff where you're bouncing around and stuff. No big deal. But with this bike, it's so heavy, and and it's 100 pounds heavier than a real dirt bike. Right, a real dirt bike is 250 pounds. This bike is probably about 350 pounds, so it's 100 pounds more. So it's that much but more effort, basically. And I'm a small guy, I'm only butt naked, I'm 140 pounds. So I'm 140 pounds. This thing is 350-ish, or almost 350 pounds. So this bike is 2.5 times heavier than I am. So that's a lot, that's a lot of weight for me. If you're a big guy, if you're a 200-pound guy, and you're tall, and you have a lot of leverage. When you have long legs, you have a lot of leverage. It's not so bad, but a small, short guy like me, it's a lot of work. So it's a little bit too much work for my taste. So I'm gonna shorten the suspension down a little bit. So when I get a chance, I'm gonna do that. I'm not sure when I'm gonna do that. Probably over the summertime. I'm just too busy doing this and doing that. So anyways, so that's my my long day bike ride review of how I feel after riding this bike for the whole entire day. These tires, these are the stock IRC tires. These tires suck. They suck on the pavement, and they suck in the dirt. I mean, if you're riding mellow in the pavement, it's fine, and if you're riding mellow in the dirt, it's fine. But if you're riding fast, they're sketchy in both conditions, both dirt and pavement. And I was riding, a dirt road, a pretty hard pack dirt road, a little sandy here and there, a little gravelly here and there, but for the most part, it's hard pack. And it still kind of felt kind of sketchy. Once I passed like 60, on that dirt road, I was okay going up to 60. Then once I passed 60, like when I got to like 65, 70, oh man, especially at 70, man, it just felt really sketchy. At 65, depending on, it was just clean hard pack, it's fine. But when it was a little sand, a little gravel, it felt kind of sketchy. But when I was doing 60, it felt, I felt comfortable. So anyways, so once these tires wear out, I'm not sure when that's going to be, but once these tires wear out, I'll have to look for something else that's, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to go, because these are like kind of like 50-50 tires, I think. because I mostly ride pavement with dirt roads. So I don't think I'm gonna go with a 50-50. I'm probably gonna go with something that's a little bit more pavement oriented, maybe like a 70-30 or 80-20 or something like that. I know it's gonna suck on dirt, but it'll be a little bit better on the pavement because you know really you ride faster on the pavement, right? On dirt you don't ride that fast, so be a little bit more mellow out there, and on pavement, if you know for the same speed, you know, if I was going 60 on pavement versus 60 on dirt, for the same speed, if you crash, dirt is a lot more forgiving. You know, I've crashed at 60 miles an hour on dirt, and I got up and I was like a little shaken up and a little sore the next day, but I was fine. And I've actually never really crashed on pavement. I've like goofed around like in the parking lot, and you know, and fallen at really really low speed, and I actually got like hurt like that, just from, you know, from going 10-15 miles an hour on pavement, because the pavement, you know, it's not forgiving like dirt is. Anyways, so yeah, so that's my little quick update for this bike, how it feels on a long day ride, 500 plus miles, almost 550 miles. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.